Alrighty, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Surprise Jab Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Ruger. Surprise with new topics every single week and jabbing you with your daily dose of UFC. And we have a treat today. It's been a while since we've had a guest on, but I want to welcome Garan Greene onto the pod, an amateur MMA fighter out of Michigan. Garan, how's it going, man?
What's up? How you doing, man? Good to be here.
Yeah, fantastic to have you on, Garan. And so yeah, I think just for starters, just giving people a bit of a background about yourself. We kind of just casually met on the online, and I was like, it'd be so cool to get you on.
What's up, everybody? I'm an amateur MMA fighter fighting out of Oxford, Michigan. I've had 2 fights so far. I keep getting screwed with injuries, hope getting to the third one, but just got off of a surgery, recovering now, hoping to get back into the gym soon and get back hopefully to my third fight, get that win, and get back on the goal to getting pro and then getting to the UFC. Every fighter's dream.
Hey, I absolutely love it, man. And yeah, I know you had messaged me that you'd been kind of dealing with an injury. So that happened in training. So what was it? Just going through some motions, or what happened with that?
Yeah. No disrespect when I say this because I love this guy. He's one of my best friends. But Jake Scott, me and him, one of the best 125ers in Michigan, best pro in Michigan at 125. So, we were going with him and, we were getting a little crazy. And I tried to shoot a takedown on him. And, him being pro and me being amateur, he's always one step ahead. So he caught me as I was coming in. It was just like that car crash effect. When you're watching a good UFC fight and those guys hit each other, like, coming in right at the right time
Yeah.
and you can hear it and it's audible. It was one of those. It was just training with the puffs, caught me good right in the eye socket, broke my orbital floor bone, had to go, wasn't seeing straight for about a month, had to go in and get surgery, get a little plate put underneath my eye, but, seeing good now, ready to, tired of this recovering crap, ready to get back into the gym,
Yeah,
start training again.
I hear you there. Do they got you, do you have to, like, stay in, like, dark rooms or anything? Like, I don't know how bad
Not
it is.
anymore. I was wearing an eye patch there for like a month and I hated it. It was the only thing that caused me able to see better and was able to go to work and stuff.
Well, that's still good, able to get back in there. They got a timeline for you on how long?
They said in about like a month I can start getting back to like some non-contact training. Unfortunately, I can't like hop back into sparring or anything because they want to give it some time for like the hardware and stuff to like really solidify in my face. So
Yeah. Last thing you want is come back premature, gets hit again, and then
yeah.
you're out more. So I was scoping out your tapology. For no one who knows tapology, pretty much any amateur pro MMA fighter, you'll find them on there. And so I saw we were 1-1. So when was last year our debut year? 2025, I saw.
2025 was the year of the debut. I took like 3.5 years, was training my butt off everything, jujitsu, kickboxing, boxing. I was training individual sports, everything. I was taking kickboxing fights and jujitsu matches. And, I was doing everything I could to really be ready for that.
Mhm. Yeah, and I saw, did you end up winning, like, debut of the year? I had saw you were trying to get people to vote for you.
Yeah, I won a amateur debut of the year for this filmer which was really funny story on how I met that filmer. I like didn't even know him, didn't even was just there at the venue for my debut, and then I started getting like text DMs from him the next day, like telling me like I'm gonna edit this video and stuff for you, and he like posted it, and we've become good friends ever since. He films my training sessions and he like comes and does like stuff like this, like good media stuff for me, and that guy's awesome. Love it. But yeah, won amateur debut of the year for him because I won my amateur debut in 54 seconds via armbar.
Can't beat that. I mean, going into that, did you recognize that that guy was maybe susceptible to that, or did you just kinda go in like, "Dude, I wanna do an armbar. I'm gonna do it."
That's like the funny thing is like I'm what you would consider in MMA as like a striker,
Yeah.
like somebody who prefers to stay on the feet. So, and he was a wrestler. I always get like all my matchups every time I get even fights that have gotten canceled and stuff. I always get matched up with wrestlers because at being a striker, that's what happens. And
Mm.
so I really wasn't even expecting a submission. Like I'm be honest with you, it's kind of embarrassing, but I have lost every jujitsu competition I have ever gone to, so it's like submissions weren't even really on my mind. Like if anything, if I thought I was going the distance with them and that it was gonna like if I was gonna end it in any way, it was gonna be by TKO or knockout.
Mm,
Like no. So when he took me down, I was actually like, I locked in a guillotine at first, and that was super tight too. But like, you know, being in like your debut, your blood's pumping, the adrenaline's pumping. Your brain's just moving at a million miles an hour, and I'm really pulling on that guillotine, and I just started thinking to myself, yeah, if he doesn't tap to this, because it's like you don't. Guillotines are a little sketchy because you don't know if he's gonna tap or he's gonna get out. Like
mhm.
and you could sit there and pull on it for a minute straight, and then he gets out, now your arms are all gassed from pulling on that guillotine. So I decided to let go of it, and then he just kind of left his arm laying there on my chest, so I just threw up a quick armbar, and it was pretty good debut. I got a lot of good recognition for that. There's like this really popular MMA account on Facebook that I went viral on for that too. Like a lot of people saying how it doesn't look like it was my debut, and I look like way more experienced than I should. It was definitely a really good debut. Second fight kind of pissed me off a little bit, but it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. Can't change it except work harder for the next one.
Yeah, was that guy a grappler? Because I know he
It
kind of
got
you
me
get the
Got me in a rear naked choke. I feel like every fighter says this, but like I was winning that fight. I took that fight on 10 days notice. I was moving into a new apartment. Like I was training, but I wasn't like training for a fight at the time, in
mm,
camp doing anything. But, I got the opportunity, and as an amateur, it's like, and especially like as an amateur 125, there's not a lot of guys at my weight. So you got to kind of take all the opportunities that come to you, even if
no.
it's like even if it's a little bit of a sketchy situation. So I took it, even though I shouldn't have. And I was beating the brakes off this kid, but got tired into the second round, and he took me down. I got up once, trying, he took me down again, and I was fighting to get back up, and I guess I left my neck a little too exposed, and he hopped on a rear naked, and I couldn't get him off. But it is what it is. We'll be better next time. If he sees this, I'm cool for a rematch. I've been saying
Yeah,
that.
let's run it back.
I would love to run it back. Give me a full camp. But
That's fantastic. And I did notice, after the loss, we were hungry to get back, and I saw we had a canceled fight. So was that due to the orbital, or was that from a different injury?
that was actually like that's what I mean by I keep getting screwed. And unfortunately, with the orbital, I had to cancel a fight with that exact same kid again. So if he sees this, we will get that done one day. I promise. Whether it's for a belt or something, we will get that done. But no, I got extremely sick with bronchitis the first time I was scheduled to fight him, and it was literally the week of the fight. And I was like in the hospital, breathing treatments and medicine. Like it was a bad situation. Like it even took like convincing for my fiance and like all the doctors and my mom telling me like this is like you could die if you go out there and like try and do this. It's like, fighters, they're gonna always want to push forward no matter how or what's going on. Even with the broken orbital, I was asking like in the ER, not seeing double of everybody, asking the doctor, "Are you sure I can't fight?" Like, it's like it's the life we all live.
Man, it's sort of level. I've been reading David Goggins. I'm sure you know who David Goggins is. I've been
Of course.
reading his book, and just similar to you, he's like wanting to push through. He's on these doing all these crazy things. It's like sometimes your body it just tells you like you gotta slow down, man. And especially for fighters, you got that tough mentality. It's just hard to overcome sometimes. I bet. Just tell yourself.
Luckily, I got good team and good coaches around me to tell me when it's time. Like my coach Joaquin, he made sure to tell me when this all happened. Like I know this sucks. I know we really wanted to get it done this time, but you gotta like calm down and listen to the doctors. Don't
Mm.
you don't. Doctors were over here telling me is like, yeah, you could fight, but then you could also not see out of your left eye after, and
Don't want
I'm
that.
not really trying to be like that. I can't get to the UFC with one eye, unfortunately. They won't let me fight, but
No, tough stuff there. But yeah, I was noticing we train at Murcielago MMA. Do you ever see any heavy hitters there? I saw you've gotten like your Joaquin Buckley's trained there, Charles Johnson, Chaos Williams. You ever see them around?
Oh yeah, Chaos mostly. We see Chaos around. Charles trains out of Las Vegas, I'm pretty sure, but I'm sure I've yet to meet him. I've been there for about a year, and I've yet to meet him, but I've been told he does come around sometimes. Buckley was here a couple weeks ago. I didn't get training with Chaos. I didn't get to see him though. I wasn't in the gym. But yeah, no, mostly Chaos. Chaos is there. We train with Chaos a lot. There's a lot of heavy hitters. Like I said, Jake Showtime Scott. Like he's if you're a local Michigan person, you know who that is. Like best like that guy is doorsteps away from Contender Series.
Really?
It is like if you can get him on here, I'd suggest it. But no, him and also Aaron, like that's like the best part about it is I got like the best people at my weight in that gym. Is I got Jake Scott, and then Aaron Ward, Aaron Turtleman. He's like I forget what number, but I'm pretty sure he's like second or third ranked in the state, along with Jake being number one. So we got literally all the best guys at my weight class, and then a bunch of 125 amateurs. And a bunch of like other like good like really popular skilled amateurs at all sorts of weights. Dylan Freeman, we got everybody, dude. It's a room of killers there, dude. Room of lions, I swear.
Man, that's so sick. I know you had mentioned before we began this year, you would actually also train at what is it, at Maverick MMA? Do you just kind of fluctuate between the two, or?
Maverick MMA is where I started it, and like if anybody's watching this who is wants to start MMA or start training kickboxing, jujitsu, boxing, anything, and you're out of the Michigan area, I definitely suggest like Michigan, Oakland County area. I definitely suggest starting at Maverick MMA. That's where I started. It's a great place. They do a great job teaching. I knew absolutely nothing walking through the doors, and the coach there, Coach Jason, he's great. They got a lot of coaches. The jiu-jitsu coach Brian. They got other coach Jerry. Everybody there is great. It's a great family environment. They'll teach you from learning zero to going to your first kickboxing fight, your first MMA fight. I just started training at Mercy because Jake is the MMA coach over at Maverick, and so over time he was my coach at first. Now we're like really good friends, but coach at first, and he told me he was training over at Mercy, and I like looked it up, and I saw like the room full of killers, like you said. I saw like Buckley and Charles and Chaos all over there, and and I'm like, all right, well, I got to do whatever it takes so that I can be told like, because I didn't want to just like show up there and think like, because that was a big thing for me. I just didn't want to show up there and be like, oh, I'm gonna be an MMA fighter and
Yeah.
start training with all these killers and then get my ass whooped and be all embarrassed. And because that probably, if I would have done that, I probably would have not gotten to 4.5 years of training and 2 fights under me looking for a third one. It's like it takes there is like when people say there's levels to this shit, they mean that. It's like, so it took me 3.5 years to even get an invite over to Mercy, and I started training over there. Got my first fight with them. Here we are.
Still going away, still staying at it. I love it. And
Of
so
course.
we've had two amateur fights. We're what are we 22? I think I saw
22, just turned
20.
22 a week ago.
Happy belated birthday. I mean,
Thank
Garan,
you,
that's
thank you.
lovely. And so my question was, when do we think we're turning pro? Because some guys they jump right into pro. Other guys, they maybe wait till late 20s. What are you thinking?
Unfortunately, I was hoping, 3 more fights, get up to like 5. That's a good amount of experience, in my opinion, and then
Yeah.
switch over to pro. But unfortunately, in Michigan, there is a law that like prohibits like how many fights you have to have as an amateur before you can go pro. So unless I move to a different state for a different commission, I have to have at least 7 amateur fights before I can go pro. So probably looking at that. But if I can heal up from this injury and not have any more setbacks, like I'm hoping, like God willing, God has a plan for everything. I'm a huge God believer. Fucking God. God put me where I am. He's driven every lane and driven me towards every inch of success and taught me everything that I know now. And honestly, I was terrible in competition before I found my way back to Jesus and everything. So truly believe God can push you to do anything in life, man. So as soon as I can get healed up from this injury and back into the gym and working hard every single day, I'm hoping to just rep out as many fights as I can this year, get hopefully like 5, 6 fights done by the end of the year. One every other month if I can.
Just keep hammering them out. I absolutely love the faith aspect. I was going to ask you about that. I noticed on your socials you were posting about it. I find that fantastic. When did you really come around to finally, not just like knowing about God, but actually like knowing God and that He has a plan for you?
Really, man, when I started training and stuff, like I was having like martial arts and stuff taught me a lot, but like I was noticing when I was like going to competitions and stuff and like trying to like this is not even all just like competition based. This is just like life based, but like I was failing a lot, not just in like competition. I was really good in the gym. This goes for all things too. Like I was really good in the gym, but when it came time to competition, I would fail every single time. I would fail jujitsu competitions, kickboxing competitions, and I would get so nervous and like so scared that I would throw up. And this is like situations in life, like I'd be so nervous about not having money, and like I'd get so nervous that I would throw up. And like you would think like somebody like that can't like go through 9 minutes of fighting like that, probably the most intense thing ever. And I just like I started spending more time with my buddies, Jake Scott and Dylan Freeman, who are huge believers and stuff like that. So when I was talking to them, driving, we carpooled to our gym, which is like an hour away for all of us. So we all carpool together to get to Mercy every week. And so the whole car ride, we're just talking about God and Jesus and all that. It's just and I was getting ready to make my amateur debut, and I was like talking to all of them, and I was just thinking like they were just really like telling me all these stories about how nothing, like the only thing that changed for them is when they accepted God into their life, and they like started like instead of like trying to put faith into themselves and their own skills and their own like ability to accomplish things, they started putting that faith in like, well, like God's got me. Like I know
Yeah.
if I don't have it figured out, I know He does. Nothing scarier, man. Like I keep going back to fighting, but this goes back because it's just my best way to explain things, but this goes for all things in life, man. When you can't see an outcome for something and you're like, because trust me, nothing is more scary than going into a fight and then having those. No, I don't care how mentally strong you are. All fighters will sit here and tell you that, like, I'm not scared. Like all this macho man bull crap, but I don't care how mentally strong you are. Every fighter has those what ifs in fight camp. Those what if I go out there and he knocks me out in 5 seconds, and like, or like what if he goes out there and he submits me, or like he's is grappling so good I can't do anything about it. Like, it's like every fighter has these thoughts, whether like you're strong mentally or not. Like those guys, and like most of the guys that are able to go out there and put on like those beautiful performances and like like go out there and look like they're not phased by it at all. um, those are like a lot of them are God believers and people who believe in Jesus. It's because they're not putting their faith. They already know that God has a plan and God knows what's going to happen, and they have full trust that God is going to whatever it is what God has meant for them. They say it in the Bible. Whatever God has planned for you is better than anything you can imagine for yourself. And I truly believe that. And ever since I started grasping onto that, reading the Bible and reading my scripture every day, that's the only time I started succeeding in not only competition, but in life. I stopped putting my faith in my ability to do things and put my faith in God.
That's fantastic. I feel the same way, Garan. I was always kind of, like in and out of it and in and out of it. And when you kind of just realize, like, you don't have to, try it all by yourself. If you give it up to God, He'll look out for you. And, especially as a fighter, you mentioned, I'm sure you're getting nerves when you're walking out of the curtain, when you're getting in there. And then really isn't when, would you say, the bell rings or when you really like the ref brings you too close together? Is that when you really focus in and all the nerves just kinda vanish?
For me, all the nerves vanish. Like when I'm about to step in the cage, I always like say a little prayer to myself, like, God, please protect me and my opponent, allow us to both leave this cage with the least amount of damage as possible and to
Yeah.
go enjoy the rest of the night with our friends and family. Win, lose or draw, just allow us to leave this cage happy, healthy, and like ready to go see our families and enjoy the rest of our night. And as soon as I finish that prayer and I do the cross on my chest, I give my necklace away to Jake and all my homies and dap them up. As soon as my feet touch the mat, it's complete business after that. I'm not thinking of anything other than I gotta do what I gotta do.
Man, that's awesome. I absolutely love that. Now, one question I always love to ask fighters is would you rather come out first or come out second to the cage?
Luckily, I've gotten both of the like in those 2 fights, I got to experience both of those. I got
Oh,
to
well about
experience
that.
coming out first, and I got to experience coming out last. And honestly, I think I kinda enjoy coming out first a little more. I enjoy kinda, like, it's a little messed up, it's a little bit of, like, a mental, like, game, like, playing with their head a little bit. I like to be able to, like, watch them as they come out and, like, let them
Yeah,
see that, like, you don't phase me, like, whatever you're doing, whatever energy you're coming out with doesn't phase me. I'm looking through you, and I will watch you from the moment you walk out until you're standing in front of me. Like, it's just eye contact the whole time. Like, I'm looking through you. I'm ready to do what I gotta do to get you out of here.
yeah. Absolutely love that. One of my buddies, Jimmy Ollis, I've had him on. He's out from Minnesota. He does I think it's a Muay Thai, but he'll be transitioning to MMA soon. And watching him fight, I mean, just oh my gosh, zoned in, watching this guy the whole time. Once you're in there, it's just going right at them. And he's a striker as well. So I'd say, you've kind of the second guy you faced, was he so he was more of a wrestler, you'd say.
He was a blue belt in jujitsu, yeah, he was
Oh,
definitely more of a grappler.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, jujitsu grappler guy, definitely, yeah.
So So my question would be, I've talked to strikers, you're a striker. Do you notice like the jujitsu guys, do they have any tells when they're going in for like shooting and stuff? Because I know you're probably your hands up, you're focused on the striking. Do they have any tells or are they very crafty when they're going for their takedowns?
When they're getting punched too much, that's for sure. You'll definitely notice that if a lot of grapplers, and I don't mean this in like a rude way, but like a lot of grapplers will come out in the beginning of a fight trying to throw hands, and you'll notice immediately once if they're going against a striker and they'll realize they're outmatched, they'll immediately start shooting. But I don't really know. There's not really a really hard tells for them if they're really good at mixing it up and stuff. The jujitsu guy didn't really shoot on me much. He kind of like took advantage. Jujitsu guys, I feel like take advantage more of trips and like you
Mm.
screwing your own footwork up,
Oh,
making it tripping yourself up and falling or something. Because he didn't really try to shoot on me. Really, I threw. He was really tall for 125, which is insane. I tried to throw a couple of head kicks on him, and every time I did, I kind of just like slipped and fell on my butt. And that's when he would like try to like do jujitsu, but even then, I was kinda surprised with how good my grappling was because I was just able to flip him right over. It didn't seem like he was much of a I was kinda thinking, "Give me my blue belt."
yeah.
It's like but it is what it is.
No, I like it. So how tall?
I will continue to talk my crap until I get that fight back, but
Please do let them hear it. I love it. That's the fight game there. But how tall are you, Garen?
I'm about 5'5".
5'5". That's pretty standard flyweight height. How tall is your opponent?
He was I'm not sure, it was between, like, 5 and 11 and 6 foot. He was a tall 125er.
You got that, you ever Jose Johnson, he's a former, UFC fighter, he was in there for a bit. He was like a 6-foot flyweight, damn. He always struggled with grapplers, I found, so, I don't know, but maybe he's using his size.
And maybe that was the problem. Maybe he is a decent grappler, and I was just like, he hasn't grappled somebody as small as me before, but
Could be the case.
but
But
he got it in the end. I'll give it to him. He did get me, got me.
hey, fight game, it's you lose one, you move on, you win one,
Is what it
it's
is. I'm an
what am I
amateur.
doing
It's all
next?
about experience right now.
Mhm.
It's all about learning and getting as many fights as I possibly can.
Like amateur record, I'm sure there have been some of the greats that had terrible amateur records. Not everyone's going to be a Muhammad Mokayev. Do you know about his amateur record at flyweight?
I did not know about his amateur record. I know he's undefeated right now as a pro, but
Garen, he had it was around 30, 40, might have even been northwards of 50 amateur fights before he
that's
went pro.
insane. That's insane. I would need to go pro a lot quicker than that. That's too much.
Hey, that's those
So much
Dagestani.
experience. But hey, that's why he's undefeated as a pro. He's got all that experience. He's got all that cage time. That's what it's all about.
I mean, He's kind of the definition of, skill can only get you so far in the UFC because, they still cut him. But sounds like you got some pizzazz. We got the Green Machine nickname. Was that self moniker or was that given?
It was actually one of my coaches, one of my old
Love it.
coaches. He's actually in the military now. I haven't seen him in a while, but one of my old coaches, we used to do he runs this company called War Garden. It's like a company out of Michigan that sells fight equipment, boxing gloves,
Yeah.
puffs, shin pads. But no, he was running that, and he would did do like private lessons and stuff. And he just commented on one of my Instagram posts one day, calling me the Green Machine after I posted a video of me and him training together. And I liked the sound of that, you know. It had a good ring to it. Pretty sure forgot the oh yeah, everybody was calling me G Money before, and I wasn't a huge
G
fan.
Money.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that one. So when Green Machine came up, I took advantage of that as quickly as I could.
I think it runs smoother than
Yeah, I definitely like it a little bit more.
man. That's fun. That's so cool that he does. He's in the active military right now. Is he stationed local or is he overseas?
Not 100% sure all the information. It's pretty secretive, whatever is going on. So I mean,
Some cool stuff, I bet.
yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. Whatever he's doing is pretty cool.
That's awesome. So, I mean, obviously the fight game consumes most of your life, but what else do you do outside of fighting, Garan? What else do you keeps your time busy?
Oh man, dude. Every guy loves video games. Obviously, I play some video games here and there. Huge fan of like skateboarding and BMX and stuff like
Yeah.
that, snowboarding. Huge winter sports guy. Love snowboarding. It's probably my favorite. He just huge extreme sports guy outside of fighting. Really, fighting is really the only sport that real sport that you would see on TV that I really do. Never been like a huge football or like baseball kid, but
Mm,
always been into like skateboarding and all that type of stuff. Huge like comic book type of kid. Love Spider Man, as you can see with all the stuff
yeah,
behind
I
me.
love it.
I love music. Love Deftones. Rob Zombie. Huge music person. Huge heavy metal like rock, old rock type of guy.
Man, I love that. Very surface level, but I was rocking a little Deftones and Rob Zombie into work today. And probably just the mainstream songs, but
Hey man,
they got some
still
good
good
stuff.
music. Whatever you're listening to, I know it's good.
That's fun. So yeah, really just like the adrenaline sports, it sounds like, because I mean that's
Yeah.
what skateboarding, BMX, yeah.
Always been a huge adrenaline junkie my entire life. That's something my parents and everybody, entire family could definitely say about me. Garen's always trying to do something that'll get his heart going.
That's fantastic. And one thing I'm always curious about, getting your heart going, just really getting amped up. I'm sure right now we're only an amateur. We're only 22. I'm 23. We're young. We get some experience on our belt. Let's say 5, 6, even 8 years down the line. Who's a dream opponent we would want to fight? Let's say we've made it to the big leagues. Who would be one
Uh,
guy you'd want to fight?
I don't know, man. I definitely I'm aware of some prospects and stuff coming up right now. So definitely this guy fought, I'm pretty sure it was either last weekend or the weekend before, but this guy is like our styles, in my opinion, are like super similar, and I would love to fight him one day. And like as soon as I get enough, because obviously not ready right now. I'm not claiming that I could beat this guy right now. Anybody watching this, but with good amount of experience, I would definitely love to fight somebody like Loner Kavanaugh, like somebody like him.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a dream matchup of mine to like get to the UFC and like possibly for a belt, or him or someone like Joshua Van too. Definitely somebody younger, like in my generation, like that I would definitely like to.
I mean, I'm big UFC guy. Flyweight is insane right now. So the fact that you fight in that weight class, I mean, like, just absolute killers.
It's stacked.
Tatsula Taira, Joshua Van, Loner Kavanaugh, you name them. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Mercy might
Man,
be getting a world title soon, maybe with what's his. I don't know if it's like in talks or anything, but I'm just saying like he keeps knocking out all these prospects. They got to give him a shot at that belt.
I mean, I would hope so. I mean, I'm here
That's
for it. You actually hear they're announcing the White House card
I'm
tomorrow.
excited to hear about that, man. Excited. Hopefully, it's all major fights. With only having I think he was like 6 or 7
Yeah,
he had on there. I don't know.
it was something like that. And I already saw there was like a social post. They have two title fights. I know. So My one question, like, I don't know, like, I feel like they have to put an American fighter, like, in the main event, like, it's the White House.
They definitely have to. I was a little because I saw like an Instagram video earlier where it was like two foreign fighters. It was like I think it was like an edit saying how like they're gonna be like the main event for the White House
Huh,
card, and I was like, I was just thinking in my head how that doesn't really like that didn't really make much sense with it
yeah,
being at the White House. You'd feel like they would probably put two American fighters or like an American versus a foreign fighter, or at least one American on the main event. You know.
I I don't know, we'll see, it should be exciting, and I know tomorrow, massive fight. I've already broken down all of them, but I'm sure very curious to your thoughts, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. What you thinking for that one?
Dude, I mean, I'm not excited for all the crap I'm about to get from all my teammates from this, but I definitely think like Charles, like I would love for Charles Oliveira to win. You know, I would love for that to happen.
Yep.
That's what I'm hoping to happen. You know, but you know, Max Holloway is really good, and I feel like people underestimate him sometimes when he's, and that's when he does his best work. You know, so
I'm right
I
there with you.
underestimated him. I was saying Justin was gonna beat the brakes off of him when he fought Justin, you know, and then he did what he did. So, you know,
I mean,
I've
he
been
just
proven wrong. So
so
I
good.
definitely I'm gonna stick with my guns and just say Charles is gonna win. That's what I want to see happen.
That's what I'm thinking that too. I've noticed this pattern actually with Max Holloway. Now, mind you, he's been winning, only like one loss in the last 4 years, but he's actually been dropped in his last three fights. Gaethje
I bet.
caught him, wasn't official, but then Topira knocked him out, and Poirier dropped him as well. So Charles still got power in them fists.
Oh yeah, Charles. Everybody who keeps saying Charles is washed, they're wrong. I definitely like Charles
Not
is
at
gonna
all.
no. Charles is gonna crack him, put him to sleep. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. That's what needs to happen.
I love it, Garrett. I love it. Now, do you have would you say a favorite UFC fighter that you have? Some people do, some people don't.
I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite. I think I definitely have like a lot of them I like. George St. Pierre's definitely always been one of my favorites. Always been like a huge inspiration of mine. Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor, like definitely mirrored a lot of my fighting style off of those two guys. Like ever since I started training, all my coaches have always told me like you're like a mixture of Sean O'Malley and Conor McGregor. Always trying to do
Good
like the spinny
comparison.
stuff, like yeah. Hey, but so, like, of course, those guys are all my favorite. Like I said, man, I'm kind of a casual when it comes to, like,
Uh,
UFC. It sucks. Like, I wish I could, like, sit here and, like, drop some name that, like, nobody's ever heard of and, like, sound cool, but no, it's mostly, like, those just mainstream guys, you know, like Conor McGregor, George St. Pierre, like, all those guys. Mostly, like, the older guys, though.
mm,
I do like Joshua Van and Loner Kavanaugh and stuff. Like, I like watching, like, those guys fight. My teammate Charles, love watching him fight. Guys at my weight class.
yeah. I mean, and with 125, all you guys are just so fast. Do you notice when you're training? Because, like Chaos, for example, he's fighting like 170, 180. I'm sure other guys in your gym. Do you notice a difference when you guys are different weight classes in your sparring?
Oh, there's definitely like you could definitely like obviously when you're sparring the guys that are bigger and stuff, you're not going 100% with them,
Yeah.
but there's definitely you definitely notice a difference. And even like the heavyweights, like for example, like Jerry Watterson over at Maverick, he's a pro heavyweight or no pro light heavyweight, and we spar from time to time, and that's like something he always says. It's like it's not fair how fast you are, like you know, it's like
That's awesome.
you know, it's like smaller, gonna pick up a lot more speed, less to move around.
That, you see all of them. They're just moving around so
But
quick. And
that's why you don't see much knockouts at 125 those because we're all
no,
so fast. We're all gotta be one step ahead to get a knockout, and we're all moving at a million miles an hour.
hey, it's a fun weight class to be in, and I really do like your odds. Obviously we're amateur right now, but 125, there's just not as many out there. Like your friend Jake, who's ranked high, maybe on the contender series radar. I'm sure opportunities for him are going to be coming more so than like lightweights and welterweights out there.
I hope so. We've been trying to get him like this whole year. We've been thinking that he's like gonna get that call tomorrow, but you know, UFC man, get your stuff together. You're missing out right now. But
Yeah. So what fight promotions do you and him fight out of? Very like local Michigan joints or?
I have fought both the times I fought for an organization called Clip MMA. It's like they
Mm,
run. they run kickboxing fights, boxing fights, and it's all out of like this casino, and it's called Motor City Casino out in Detroit.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool, nice venue. Jake, I'm pretty sure he's fought for them a couple times. Jake's fought for probably every promotion in Michigan. He's fought for WXC, Legends of Combat. You know, he had a fight a couple months ago for APFC. You know, Anthony Pettis is
Wow.
fighting.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
He was a co-main event for that too. So,
Yeah, very cool.
bro, 8-1. It's either 8-1 or 9-1. I'm pretty sure
Man,
was his record.
it's very cool, but it probably must be so nice to have I assume he's like, a friend, but also like a mentor for you in MMA. 'Cause
Uh,
MMA is one of those sports you really need a mentor.
Huge, man. You know, like he helps me out a lot. Like the fight game is ridiculous, man. It's so brutal, and it's like the mental like aspect on top of the physical. Because like not only are you beating yourself up every single day, getting picked up, slammed, kicked, punched, you know, you're dealing with so much mentally too, like work life balance. Because you know, as a fighter, and especially as somebody who wants to be a world champion one day, you know, it's like it's hard to balance work and you know, like I'm getting married this year, July. You know, it's like
Amazing.
it's like there's so much going on. Everybody says that, like you can't have all these things and still like train to be a world champion, which I don't think is true. You know, I work my butt off 6 days a week, and I still manage to like come home and have an apartment and great life with my fiance. You know, very blessed, but you know, having Jake around has helped me a lot with like the mental aspect and knowing how to like am I making the right decisions here, man? Like, am I like is this the right thing? Because like I'm not gonna lie, dude. When I got my debut, like I had a little bit of like a crisis moment where it was like this is like if you say yes to this, like you gotta go through with this, you know? Like this isn't no like cause like my kickboxing competitions and stuff, you know, you got big gloves on, shin pads, headgear,
Yeah.
you know, and like you got jujitsu competitions, can't really get hurt there, you know. It's like just felt a lot more real, you know. It's like we got no pads on, 4-ounce gloves, and we're just gonna try and beat the shit out of each other, basically, you know. And so, you know, I was sitting at my fiance's house, and I was just sitting there thinking, like talking to her, like having like in crisis mode. Is this a good idea? Like, am I like I don't want to go out there and just get like whooped on in 30 seconds and just like embarrass myself and like 'cause, like, dude, like, there's so much that goes into this, like, it's way more than just, like the outside view, it's like, it's just 2 guys fighting, but, like, bro, these 2 guys and probably invited 50 of their closest friends and family to be here,
Oh,
you know, and it's like, they're all out in the crowd. You think my mom and fiance wanna see me get punched in the face? And, you know, it's like, especially but on top of like they don't want to see me get punched in the face and lose. You know, it's like
yeah.
get punched in the face and then like be sad the rest of the night. You know, it's so good to have like good like Jake and like Turtle like. Jake and Turtle, especially like two of my closest like friends at the gym, and they're both pros, and it's like so good to be able to like, especially with like this eye injury stuff, dude. You know, it's like you don't know what to do. Like doctors and everybody's telling you like slow down. Like that's the opposite of what your mind wants you to do as a fighter. It's like as a fighter, you're just so go 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 all the time. So like it's so good to have like Jake and Aaron to talk to and be like are you sure like are the doctors right? Should I just like not listen and like train and like or like do this? And they're always like they're so good to like steer me in the right direction and like you know like when this eye thing happened Aaron told me it's like everything's going to be a lot harder mentally than it is physically because like right now I feel like 100% I can see straight again after
Well,
surgery and everything, you know. I'm ready to get back into training and everything, but doctors are over here telling me I'm gonna get messed up if I do. But you know, it's luck. That's and like it just goes back to like you know that's what Aaron meant by it's gonna be a lot tougher mentally than it is physically. You know, it's so
mm,
good to have like guys like that around with the experience and have gone through most of the situations I'm going through, so that they can steer me in the right direction and to know that I'm not like the only one feeling this way.
so that's fantastic, and I know you're itching to get back. So when can we expect Garan the Green Machine Green to be back in the octagon?
Hopefully, I'm hoping summertime at midsummer, late summer. But after that, we're gonna be popping them off back to back. So as soon as I'm back, expect fights every other weekend or not every other weekend, every other month or whenever I can get my that would be a little too much.
That'd be
Every
crazy.
other month or whenever I can get one, it's hard to get fights out here, but I'm gonna keep trying, keep pushing every single day as soon as I can get back in the gym, You will see me holding UFC gold one day, man. You could say you're the first one to do a podcast with me.
I love it. Hey, I'll take it. Little podcaster, little amateur. One day,
We're
gonna
both
be
gonna
nice
be
and
big,
big.
and when I'm world champion, you're a big podcaster, we could do this again. It'd be fun.
I freaking love it, Garan. So, my one thing I always ask everyone I have on before we end it out, what would be your one last word of advice to people out there, especially for people looking to get into MMA?
And people looking at getting MMA, well, first of all, my first thing I want to say, is like find God or do whatever you can to get as close as possible to Jesus. Jesus will get you out of whatever situation you think you're in or whatever bad area you are. But I want to say to the people out there who wants to start MMA, man, do it. A lot of fighters and stuff will tell you like, don't get into this. This is not for everybody. You gotta be, but like, dude, I think everybody should do this. Martial arts has taught me so much about life, about just everything, dude. Like I was low key a loser before I started doing this stuff. Like I was not going anywhere in life, and now I got my own place. I'm doing good in life. Like outside, like I'm not even saying do martial arts to become a fighter. Do martial arts to become a better person. It's like martial arts will teach you how to delay gratification and how to just like enjoy what you got. And I've been doing this for 4.5 years. I don't even have a blue belt in jujitsu, man, and I'm still
Well,
here.
we'll
It'll
get
teach
that.
you.
We'll
It'll
be
teach
getting
you. And
that.
I'm 1-1 MMA fighter with a submission. That just like just do martial arts, bro. It'll teach you everything you need about hard things in life. Life's hard. Life throws you curveballs all the time. It's a good skill to know. Now I now have the skills to deal with like work problems under pressure, like because of fighting and life problems, everything. It'll teach you how to how to deal with life. Martial
That
arts is martial arts is a good thing to teach you about working hard and achieving things. Delayed gratification is a great thing to learn, in my opinion.
I'm a big believer in the same thing, and especially for mixed martial arts and life in general, delaying gratification super important. And absolutely love the point on God, and really, really great speaking with you, Garen. I was really happy to get you on, and I'm sure there's going to be someone who maybe spontaneously listens to this, and they're going to go, "Wow, if this guy can do it, I can get into it."
Of course, man. That's always the opposite of just wanting to glorify God and become a world champion. Outside of that, my dream is to inspire people. Like ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to do something great with my life and something big. And I just dream that every time I go out there to fight or I post something, that same, 8-year-old kids out there in the crowd looking at me thinking I can do that too. You know, it's
Yeah,
all it's about, man.
that's fantastic, Garen. Been a pleasure having you on, my man. And
Thank you, man.
ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch you next time on the Surprise Jab Podcast.
See you later, guys.